Hello and welcome back to my Gambler boat restoration project. Okay, now as you guys recall, this is my 1989 Gambler bass boat. Now, I've had it about a little over a year and just had some issues, and if I didn't address it, it was going to go downhill fast. I had some soft spots in the deck up here, and you know, it had the carpet on it. I couldn't see, but when you stepped here, you couldn't feel it, and it was just weak right here and on the other side. What it was is it had developed some cracks here and here in the top layer of fiberglass. And over the years, the guy I bought it from kept it outside, and water just seeped in there and never dried and rotted the wood. But this is not plywood in here. Okay, it's this thick, and on the bottom it has a layer of fiberglass. Then it has ingrained balsa standing straight up, you know. And it just got waterlogged for years and kind of rotted away. So what we did was just took my skill saw and we cut that out, got the wood out, replaced it with 5/8 plywood. That was the closest we can get. And this is all one piece with the grain running this way, so it'll take the flex out. It was flexing right here. And did that to that side, except that one went way back there. Okay, put the plywood in there, and then feathered the edge real good, and covered it with 10-ounce cloth and polyester resin, feathered out the edge, bam, fixed. Also had some cracks. We just took a Dotco sander, sanded a groove in there, 10-ounce cloth and polyester resin, 3 or 4 layers, and sand it smooth. That barely needs any filler. Okay, and this is what I was working on the other night. Okay, so one of the previous owners had put a clear coat over the top of this, and it just looked like donkey butt, man. I mean, it was just runs in it. And right here, it had a big old sag, and they was trying to cover up the crack, I guess. I didn't notice it was a crack until we was sanding. But it had a crack. It was just in the gel coat, but it was a long one. And you can't feel that stuff. It'll just, as soon as you take it outside, you'll see that crack again. So as I did, I took a 7-inch grinder, big grinder, 36 grit paper, and just kind of made me a channel. Went about halfway through the glass. Okay, you don't want to bust through, but I went about halfway through. Then we put like 4 layers of this 10-ounce cloth with just that polyester resin you get from the auto parts store, Lowe's. Okay, and then once it's set up, we sanded it. Came out pretty good, actually better than I thought. Okay, and then I went over it with this primer. Okay, I'm doing this now because once I get to, you know, my big primer gun and get this thing primered, we won't have a lot of body work to do. I just want to take care of all these issues now. That way when I get to priming, we can wet sand it and paint it, you know, and to save on that primer too. This is, I get this at O'Reilly's. This is the best primer in a can I ever seen. And it's sandable and good for fiberglass steel. It is actually, or metal, it's actually, it'll roll around again. But it's good for metal. Self-etching, that's the word I'm looking for. But it's Transtar, and it dries in an hour, and you can wet sand it without clogging up your paper, and you can get it in all colors. But I'm going to paint the boat white So I'm going to use white primer. Okay. So after this set up and we sanded it, you know, pretty good by eye. I just got an orbital sander I got from Harbor Freight. Worked great. And another little sander I got from Harbor Freight. Works great. Got it pretty good, you know, to where it was nice and flat. And I sprayed it with this. And, you know, it actually came out pretty good. Better than I thought. Okay. Then I sanded it again. Now, every place that's white needs some fillers. This white is just a cloth. You know, it just needs very little. Right there, my grinder got away from me a little bit. But very little filler. And no, I'm not going to use Bondo. Okay? Going to use this marine grade epoxy. This is a white epoxy, and it won't crack out due to the flexing of the fiberglass. You know, boat moves, expands, contracts. Bondo will crack out. So, I got that done. I'm going to hit it with some filler today. And here's some other cracks we fixed. This one's been sanded. See, it had a little crack going this way. Another one, this one has not been sanded. See that fiberglass cloth? But I always build it up higher than it needs. I'd rather sand it down than have to add a bunch of filler. You know, we want the tiniest amount of filler we can get. See, there's another little crack. It was right there. Grinded it way down and added that cloth. There was some more here. And this is just no filler yet. We just sanded that and I hit that with that paper. And it's looking awesome. I mean, just very little filler. There is a couple places. That little void right there. Some air holes. But not a big deal. And for the big, it had a big gouge right here. You know, we don't want to just thick filler. So what I did is I used micro balloons. Well, not micro balloons, cotton flock. It's actually ground up cotton. Where is it at? I got a bag of it somewhere. But if you don't, oh, here it is. It's actually like ground up cotton. You know, so the fibers mix together with the resin. And where you can get it thick and it's not just resin. But if you don't have access to cotton flock, you can cut fiberglass cloth. Just something to thicken up your resin. And that's what that is. We'll sand that smooth, very little filler. And places like this, here's a little ding. I'll just fill that with my epoxy. And floor's good to go. That had a soft spot in that plywood. And so I just took my skill saw and vroom, cut it out. And I found out this boat is full of foam on the bottom. So this is like an unsinkable boat. And I was quite pleased to see that. But we fiberglassed the bottom of this piece right here. Put it in. And then a couple layers of that 10-ounce cloth. Feathered out them edges with the grinder. And added that 10-ounce cloth. Floor's fixed. And not bad at all. And that right there, this has got trim tabs for your feet. Trims the motor out, you know. So you don't have to take your hands off the steering wheel. And but that box was rotten. It just had some issues. It was going to go downhill fast if I didn't do something. And oh yeah, these boards here, we had to replace them. These were rotten. We cut them out with one of them electric saws. You know, them vibrating saws. You can get them at Harbor Freight because it's glass to the boat. But they came out pretty easy. And we put new wood in there. Put some resin on them, that one in the back. And fiberglass them in. 10-ounce cloth over on that side too. And so we pretty much got all the rotten wood taken care of. Now we're getting ready to paint it. And get it painted. I'm going to do the upholstery work myself. Guys, upholstery work is not that hard. I will show you how to do it when I get to that point, once we get it painted. But I'm going to paint it. Brand new carpet, new seats. Put my motor back on it. And my hot rod gambler be back ready for some fishing by spring. Yeah, I see it's winter now, and that's why I decided to go ahead and do it and have her done by spring. But I'll make you another video, show you the progress, answer any questions you got, and we're going to get this thing painted pretty. We'll see you next time.